Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have any other significant Pisces placements, there may be a message in here for you. So Pisces, to get started, I am getting this energy of interference, like energetic interference in something that may be causing a bit of frustration. So just being patient with that energy. I do feel like this is a situation where it's sort of coming through as being like grit that contributes to a pearl. So it does feel kind of like irritation that is encouraging you to grow in some way. There may be sort of like, it's kind of coming through as like disruptive feedback, like just like as a metaphor. I'm gonna take this out as a metaphor of being like the sound is not clear, right? Because there's some sort of feedback from from a particular source is just how it's coming through. So it is something that I feel like might be a Mercury retrograde kind of energy. It does kind of feel frustrating, like it may be causing sort of like a lack of clarity in sort of the messages that you're receiving or that kind of thing, or like it might be sort of like impacting your intuition in some way, because it kind of feels like disruptive feedback is just the word that keeps coming through, is coming through. So Pisces, focus on clarity. I feel like there's something here as well about I'm seeing sort of like the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, because it kind of feels like there may be something of a Knight of Wands kind of energy that's is that the disruptive energy? Yes, okay. So it feels kind of like there's a Knight of Wands energy that's a bit disruptive. So it could be something where, because the Knight of Wands to me is an energy that can be very fast moving, of course, but they're sort of like unpredictable in that their energy is sort of all over the place. It's like the hot 1 minute, cold the next, like can't regulate their own energy. That's how the Knight of Wands is coming through. So there may be that sort of energy around you or like that kind of thing that maybe is causing disruption. So I'm just gonna leave that like that. Pisces. But again, I do feel like, because there is a Knight of Pentacles kind of energy coming through. It doesn't have to be people, right? It could be situations or like environments that have that sort of energy. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be a particular person. But there's something of the Knight of Pentacles, which is coming through as like the antidote is what I just heard there, to ground that sort of energy, like anything that's sort of like extra fiery or like very activating in some way. I feel like there's also something here. I feel like the part of what this energy is doing, like why the disruptive energy, well, maybe not why, but perhaps the effect that this disruptive energy is having is that it is revealing some sort of subconscious or unconscious energy that maybe needs to be cleansed or cleared out or something like that. That's how it's coming through. So it is feeling like, if you are feeling like disrupted by something, it's bringing up subconscious or unconscious energies to your consciousness for you to clean out or address or deal with or integrate or whatever. That's just how it's coming through, Pisces. So this unconscious or subconscious energetic force is just what I'm going to call it, is revealing something. Is just how I'm gonna leave it. Okay, Pisces. I'm gonna pull some cards for you. So again, I feel like I've been getting this a lot for Pisces readings, where it's like, be aware of distorted reflections, or like energy that's not yours, but that you may be picking up from the environment, like that kind of thing. Especially other people's like subconscious or unconscious energies. Just be aware of that. It may also be activating something within you. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing, Pisces, but I feel like there's something here where it's like other people's unconscious or subconscious energies are coming up to the surface, and it is at the same time revealing something. So it could be revealing something about them. It could be revealing something about the environment that you're in or that you're sharing. It could also be activating something within you, or that you are activating this energy. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The cause and effect, I'm just describing what's happening. It's kind of how it's coming through. Okay. Pisces. Okay, so not this deck. We're going to switch to the Wild Unknown Alchemy. I feel... So Neptune is Pisces ruler. I feel like Neptune is doing something soon. Okay, I have to look it up. 1 second. Yeah, okay. Neptune is right now in Pisces, which is your sign, but it's entering Aries this Sunday, March 30th. So in a couple days. So I feel like that energy is going to affect you. Of course, Neptune is the planet of vision and collective consciousness and mysticism. And it's going to be entering Aries, and there's just tons of Aries energy floating around right now. So that may affect you. That might also be something that's a bit disruptive or fiery. So just paying attention to that. I'm going to pull one card for you, Pisces. Ooh. The Alchemical Wedding. Okay. I love this card. It's a card about celebration and ritual. But that like something has been achieved is what's coming through with this card. But I am seeing sort of like a coming together of many different energies in a way that's very celebratory and positive. Okay, I'm going to read the Alchemical Wedding. So ritual, celebration, and uniting. All hail the Alchemical Wedding. The laboratory morphs into a dreamlike dance floor, and all your allies, fellow alchemists, and ancestors are here to witness the celebration. What was once lost has been found. What was once denied has come fully into the alchemist's embrace. The work is often felt as serious and studious, but the Alchemical Wedding is a moment of levity and lightness. When this card arrives, it is of utmost importance to mark the occasion. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Honor and acknowledge those who have helped you along the alchemical path. You have come so far. Energy radiates from the uniting of opposites and the redrawing of life's blueprint. The new form has arrived. The unknown has become known. You'll be back to your existential queries and tinkering ways in no time, but now the work is to revel in the miracles. Okay. This really is a card about celebration. It's about like coming together and marking a certain occasion is how it's coming through, because something has been achieved. Something that was once impossible is now possible. I feel like there's like, this is like I'm hearing the word hallmark, but I feel like it's kind of something a little bit different. It's kind of feeling like it just keeps coming through with the word celebration, and you have the void at the bottom of the deck. So there is something to celebrate, Pisces. But first, I feel like there is something like of, well, maybe the celebration is the disruption. Like there's something, I don't know. Because the ritual card is coming through as being like maybe like the start of a new ritual or something like that, or like the beginning of some sort of new tradition that is being birthed. That's how it's coming through. Like, and I feel like it is also because this card is sort of it feels like an event or a gathering. But it's also coming through with like the conjunction card, which is like the act of uniting with others and with opposites. And I feel like that's part of what's happening here. Like there's a conjunction or a uniting that's happening that is something to celebrate. I love this card because it feels like there's a lightness energy that's coming in. Like some sort of heaviness is lifted. Community. The 11th house. Yeah. It does feel like community, which is really lovely. Like coming together with a community or with other people. A group with shared interests. Okay, so I will talk about the challenge in this card is that group mindsets can take you places you don't want to go or allow you to avoid the work of one-on-one intimacy. Think for yourself. The gift is healthy community and strong teams are made up of a wonderful bouquet of unique individuals. Okay, because I do feel like there's something here of a group, or because with the alchemical wedding, it's a celebration with others. So there may, like, I'm not so much getting the challenge aspect of this, but it is coming through, so I will just mention it briefly. Like, there may be sort of like group mindsets, so not to fall into that energy, like, again, with that subconscious kind of energy coming through, just being aware of that. And then the gift, though, is that the group has complementary differences, right? Like it's forming sort of like each person plays a role, or each person brings their own gifts and strengths, or that kind of thing into an environment. This feels really positive, Pisces. It feels really positive, but just be aware of subconscious energies that may come up to the surface, because I feel like there's something here where, especially with Neptune moving into Aries, which is upcoming, it hasn't happened yet, but the energy is starting to build in that direction where people, like especially within group dynamic, because this is also, oh no, this is ruled by Aquarius, but it's also feeling like collective subconscious energies are also present, or how each individual may have their own sort of like triggers or wounding that is associated with group dynamics or something like that, or relationships or whatever. I do feel like there is a group dynamic that's being highlighted here, but it's also wanting to emphasize the work that is required for one-on-one intimacy as well. which would be sort of like the 7th house. Relationships, Libra energy. Okay. The turtle and the earthworm. And the horse. Very interesting. And then you have the moth at the bottom of the deck, which is so interesting because this is this energy of like that sort of fiery disruptive energy, because the moth in this deck describes like this energy of like thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, or like being swept away by some sort of phenomenon or that kind of thing. So just being aware of that, it could be very attractive. So just being aware of that, Pisces. Okay, we have the earthworm, the turtle, and the horse, which is really interesting because the earthworm is this sort of like beginner energy, right? The beginner. Something that's sort of uncomfortable because it's new, or feeling like you don't know enough compared to other people, like that kind of energy. Shy, hesitant, reluctant to share inner vision. Indicates a newbie or a novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember that they once felt earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. Okay. Okay. But this is feeling really lovely, which is really interesting because this card, the horse, is a card about mastery. So you have the beginner and you have the master all in one reading. So again, this could be different elements within a group, where I feel like there is something here where, again, I'm not, take whichever part of this reading resonates for you, Pisces. You may be the beginner or you may be the master, just depends on your perspective in a particular situation. So the beginner energy here may be feeling like, because it does talk about risking embarrassment, like there's something about like not being afraid to express yourself in whatever way. But I feel like the hesitancy or the shyness or the quote unquote embarrassment may be because there's a horse in this group, and this horse energy is coming through as masterful at whatever it is, right? Like because it does kind of feel like a shared interest or something like that. You're coming together to celebrate something, and there's an energy here of the earthworm and the horse, which are feeling like two ends of the spectrum in terms of like mastery, beginner versus master. And the guidance for the earthworm would be like, the beginner mindset has a particular gift that is incredibly valuable, and it will be of value to the horse energy, who is a master at the earth. That's what the horse card represents in this deck. Masterful at the earth. I will read the turtle in just a second, but I want to talk about this horse for a second. Momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force. It's the most masterful form of earth energy within this deck. It provides us with momentum so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back towards any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice. Okay. I feel like that's what the alchemical wedding is. It's like a coming together or a uniting of people of different levels of experience in whatever form of uniting this is. It just kind of feels like it's a like I'm seeing like metaphorically. It doesn't have to be literally in this case, but the community is built up of like children, but also grandparents, right? Like the levels of experience range from those groups. Like it's kind of feeling like that. And it doesn't have to be literal, right? It could be in whatever area this is relating to. The turtle is a really interesting card that is linking the two together. Because both of those are earth, right? The earthworm and the horse. The turtle, it came out with the earthworm actually, which is really interesting. And it's a water element, but also connects to earth. So it says ancient soul, grounded, trusting, and at home in the self. It's wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life, no matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers as they collect life experience under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. Okay. It's really interesting because I'm actually seeing this earthworm as being the turtle. They're one and the same today because they did come out together, where I feel like there's someone who is sort of a beginner at something, but they're also an ancient soul. So it's kind of feeling like there's an energy here where it's like, even though they may be a beginner at something, there's a groundedness there and like a trusting in oneself to that sort of like creates sort of like a sense of humility is how it's coming through, especially with the earthworm. And the horse energy, I feel like there's something here where it's like there are stories being shared between those two energies, or there's communion is the word that's coming through. Okay, so I'm going to pull cards from the Faeries Oracle. It doesn't matter who you are in this reading. You have Arvel the Parrot. It doesn't matter who you are in this reading because I feel like there's something here about in certain situations, like let's say in one area in your life, let's say it's work, you may be the earthworm. Or if it's in like, I don't know, in home or in relationships or whatever, some different area of your life, you may be the horse, and it could switch depending on the situation or that kind of thing. Pisces, it doesn't matter. It's just coming through as being like there is a union that happens between the earthworm and the horse. Someone who's a beginner, someone who's more masterful at that area, that is really beneficial and is a celebration. And I feel like will also be sort of like a new ritual, or that, I'm not a fan of that word, but I feel like there's something about like honoring some sort of process that's happening here with the alchemical wedding. I think that Arvel the Parrot as well is coming through because this is talking about the throat chakra, but also communication. Because I do feel like there's some sort of Mercury energy that's actually feeling quite positive. This is feeling like a positive part of Mercury retrograde. But it's like, okay, let me just scan this card. Clear communications are vitally important here. Strive for verbal brilliance. Listen carefully, be articulate, and be willing to calmly debate the issues and explore ideas with others. Open communication will enhance the chances of success all around. Arval also suggests that the querent watch for body language, incomplete sentences, and unfinished thoughts, and try to discover what these signals are meant to get across. Sometimes hard work. Arval reminds us that good, clear communication is sometimes hard work and requires elbow grease. Okay, so that might be part of the earthworm energy. Because the earthworm is a beginner at something. That communication of any sort doesn't have to just be verbal. In fact, this card, I think, emphasizes nonverbal communication. Requires hard work. I am getting a lot of Mercury energy, though, like messages. Messages being sent or being received and delivered within this group, but also I feel like because it's coming through as group, but also one-on-one relationships as well. Okay, Singer of Healing. I love that. Singer of Healing. Maybe there's something about the throat chakra that is healing. And this group is also facilitating that in some way. Because the earthworm, again, it does kind of feel like, especially with beginner energy, like feeling new at something, like there are kinks to smooth out. So there could be something about the throat chakra that's like being strengthened through a learning process or healed in some way, where it's like smoothing out the kinks in something, but that takes adjustment and working at it. But the good news is that you have the alchemical wedding, where it's like you've done it, you've succeeded at it. It's time to celebrate. The work here is to celebrate, right? It's not about the sort of like tinkering and the like trying to fix things. It's like put all that aside for a moment, Pisces, and just celebrate what it is that you have achieved. That's how it's coming through. Even if you feel like a beginner, it's like it doesn't matter at this moment. It's like you've done it. I feel like there's something here about the healing. I feel like subconscious energies may be healing that may have had an effect on like how you express yourself or how you send messages or communicate or how you receive them as well. There may have been some sort of like, because the throat chakra, especially with this card, Arval Parrot, also talks about receiving messages, right? Like receiving communication or listening to what is being said, verbally or non-verbally. I feel like there's that kind of energy that's healing as well. Okay, so it says, healing can seem so complex as we dig our way through all our blocks and resistances and old stuff, but in the end, it is simply letting go and opening up. Yeah. Okay. there is a healing that's coming through, perhaps messages or communication, or a gathering of a community of some sort. Okay, let's pull a card for the horse. Perhaps you are also a horse in a particular area in your life, Pisces. Again, it doesn't matter who you are in this case. I feel like there's something here where you could be both, but in just different areas in your life. It'll be the Retriever. Okay. I love this card. Because you have 4, 5, and 1 coming in as numbers. There was another reading I did that had that. I can't remember which one it was. Your stability is changing. Cancer. With a horse, this is also a Cancerian card. It's Cancer Capricorn in my opinion, but anyway, so you may want to watch the Cancer reading, which I will link above. There may be a message in there for you. But it'll be the Retriever, and you have Singer of Transfiguration at the bottom of the deck, which is, again, this sort of like jackpot success energy. That's what this is. So I feel like there is something here of like you have reached a success point. Pisces, I almost said Capricorn there. You've reached a point of success, and it's time for you to celebrate that. That's how it's coming through. It'll be the Retriever. Talks about lost hopes and dreams that are being returned because you can do something with it now. Yeah, hopes and wishes and loyalty. Ilby is trying to remind you of something you've lost, a hope perhaps, or a dream. You may have thought it gone forever, but he is holding it out to you for reconsideration. He thinks you can do something with it now. The way may not be obvious, but his clever nose has scented a path, a potential opening for bringing this into your life. Sometimes Ilby may be saying that a long-awaited dream is at last arriving on the scene, and there is nothing we need to do but open our hearts and minds to it. However, we usually have to work for it. Okay. Yeah. I feel like, so I've talked about the earthworm. If you are resonating with the earthworm in a particular situation, there's healing that is coming through how you express yourself. It does feel kind of like a throat chakra energy, or like Mercury energy, which is kind of feeling like communication and messages. And it also feels like peer relationships, right? Like relationships with peers or siblings, it could be, but it's also just like people that are the same as you, or who are part of your community. There's healing that's coming through there through perhaps like storytelling with the turtle, or like sharing your particular story, right? Because this could also talk about particular narratives with the turtle, like your history, your story, the things that you've lived through and such. That's how it's coming through. Maybe there's a particular narrative that you are healing within yourself. But anyways, so that's the earthworm energy. The horse, though, is coming through as like someone who's very masterful at this particular area, who is actually being presented with this, it'll be the Retriever, as like a lost hope or wish that is being returned because you can do something with this now. I feel like there's something here where it's like this newbie, this new beginner energy is reigniting hope within the horse, who is this sort of masterful energy, who perhaps has been been really dedicated to a particular task, like, because the horse is one where it's like structure and routine, which is very interesting, has allowed for freedom of something. This horse energy feels very free in a particular area in their life. But there's been something of like hope or inspiration that has been missing is kind of how it's coming through. I'm getting emotional for that. That I feel like there's something lost. Something that was lost is being returned. There could be like a literal age difference in this scenario with the earthworm and the horse. But it doesn't matter. I feel like there's something, it could be experience or whatever it is. Because it's almost like the earthworm, which feels younger or less experienced, is reminding the horse of their youth or something like that. Like it feels like something that was lost, or like innocence or something like that. There's so much healing in this dynamic, but again, healing is not always easy, and I feel like there's something about subconscious energies that are coming through that are coming up to be healed, and that's not always an easy process, so just be patient with it, Pisces. But anyways, what's really wanting to be emphasized here is this Singer of Transfiguration, a jackpot energy. I feel like there's something of like a disruptive energy that needed to be dealt with, because I feel like there's what's underneath that is the feline, and the feline talks about loose ends, like loose ends that need to be tied up, the sort of like tasks that we don't want to do, but when we avoid them, when we procrastinate, it becomes a much bigger problem later on. I feel like there may have been something like that was being tied up and completed, and now it's like you have this jackpot celebration. It's like the difficult whatever it was, feline energy has been dealt with. Okay, I'm gonna pull one last card from the Energy Archaeology Oracle for you, Pisces. The turtle is talking about being at home with yourself, trusting in yourself, being very comfortable with who you are, regardless of whichever energy you're resonating with. It's being comfortable with that, because I feel like there is a sadness that's coming through with this horse energy, a feeling of like something that has been lost, but it is being returned in some form. Okay. Responsibility. The right scapula. Okay, I'm gonna read that. It is tied to the left scapula, of course, which is blessing and burden. There was a community post that I posted, I think last week, that had the blessing and burden card, so you may want to check out that post. But anyways, I'm going to read the responsibility card. The scapulas carry emotional weight. So this is where your inner child wounds and traumas are stored until you're old enough and far enough along on your healing journey to heal them. Yeah. So you may be healing inner child energy. That may also be part of your the dynamic here. If it's not within a group, it could be the earthworm energy is your inner child, and the horse aspect is the adult that you are, where it's like there may be something of like an inner child energy that you're healing. So if it's not within a group, though I feel like very strongly there is a group dynamic being highlighted for you, that your inner child is healing. Okay. You have spent much of your life creating and honing a pattern of response. Conscious or unconscious, it began to form at a very young age and has stayed with your inner child. When you were young, your experiences were wildly out of your control, and this pattern was exactly what you needed at the time to feel safe. Your sense of responsibility to yourself and to the larger world around you grew out of this pattern. There's a very different frequency of energy between feeling able to respond and responsibility, between feeling responsible and taking responsibility. There's an invitation from your energy to feel into the nuance of and understand your relationship with each of these frequencies. And so the difference would be feeling able to respond versus responsibility, and then feeling responsible versus taking responsibility. That's sort of the nuance that you're being asked to feel into. So when this nuance is mirrored to you through the lens of your burdens, there's only enough space to react. When it's mirrored to you through an understanding of your blessings, you have plenty of space for response. How you heal and nurture the early pattern created by your inner child makes all the difference in how you show up as a responsible adult. When you caretake the needs of your inner child, you release the weight of responsibility and create capacity and responsibility. As an adult, the only thing you can truly control is how you heal and how you respond to life now and to your experiences then. What might my inner child be carrying as a burden or responsibility that they had no need to take on at such a young age? What is my relationship with responsibility? How does the idea of being responsible make me feel? What feels like the most expansive possibility for how to respond to a current person, situation, or circumstance? Okay. There's a lot there. There's a lot there to unpack, because I feel like there's something here, especially with the horse. This could be, again, so now the message is shifting, but I feel like this is part of the healing that's happening, where the horse is coming through as being very masterful, very responsible, very dependable. That may have formed because you have been carrying a lot of burdens. And I feel like there's something of like a healing that's happening with that, where it's like perhaps now there is some sort of blessing that's coming from this, and it is giving you a lot of space to respond, is how it's coming through, to some sort of task or whatever. It's feeling like there's something where there's a healing happening in terms of your ability to respond to something that feels very healing and positive, and it's like lifting a burden. It's a celebration. It's like something that where it's like you've reached some sort of like jackpot energy, because there's been healing in something where previously you may have not been able to respond because of something that felt burdensome or something like that. There's healing that's coming from there. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, Pisces. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.